Welcome to the Tony Gaskin Show, best-selling author, celebrity life coach, and international speaker. The purpose of this show is to bring you motivation, inspiration, and education in the areas of life, love, and business. Thank you for joining me. Now let's get started. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. The question of the day is, why doesn't my husband support me at church? Good afternoon. I have a question. How can I get my husband to support me in church? We have been married 2 years. When we first began dating, he would attend church with me by his own free will. I never had to ask. He enjoyed it and felt like he got something from God every time. Now I can't even get him to come to friends and family day. When I speak at church, he doesn't show up. Even though he knows I was nervous to preach a Sunday service, he stayed home and slept. This has caused me to not want to support anything he does. That's not who I am, but I need to stand my ground so he knows how important church is to me. Now, although this sounds kind of simple, it actually is a, pretty tough question. It's a pretty tough question, pretty weird space to be in there. But it kind of goes to show that old saying about how people give you everything to get you, but then not to keep you. So he played you. He played you. He definitely played you. He was Mr. Right, man of God, while y'all were dating, and now he doesn't want to step foot in the church. But I'm going to tell you from a male perspective, it's something a little deeper. Something a little deeper going on with him. Something a little deeper, because if he used to go to church with you all the time on his own free will and now he doesn't go, you didn't say, well, I asked him why he doesn't go, and he said, so that's the first thing. Like, did you ask him? Like, you're asking me why he doesn't support you, but did you ask him why he doesn't support you? Did you say, why didn't you come? I was speaking. Why didn't you come? Because that would have been good to hear, for me to read, to say, I asked him why didn't he come, and he said he had a headache and he was really tired from work. Because, that's important. And he's sleeping. But when I hear this and I try to put myself in this position and say, okay, if my wife is doing something, why wouldn't I show up? Why wouldn't I show up? And I'm trying to think of, something that she may be doing. Let's say she's speaking at a conference and she's on a panel and it's open to men and women. I'm going to go. If I sleep in, something is off in my life. So if I sleep in, that means I was up the night before on Facebook too long. Now, it's just me personally. His situation could be different. That means that I was on Facebook up too late, cheating in the inbox, or I was on Instagram, and I'm not saying, me like right now, but if I'm a man and I've been married 2 years and I was there for my wife while we were dating, and now all of a sudden we 2 years into marriage and I'm not there, and I'm sleeping through big events that she's having, things that are important to her, and I'm sleeping through it, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. That means that I'm either emotionally cheating, physically cheating, or if it's not on that side, it means that I'm very stressed. I'm stressed about my life. I'm stressed about my finances. I'm feeling like a failure. I'm feeling like what I'm doing in life just isn't enough. And I'm kind of going through a midlife crisis. And I can't focus on you and what you have going on because I'm just so stressed and worried about what I don't have going on and where I am in my life. So you didn't mention any signs or anything that you pick up from his behavior or his attitude. And that's really important to look at, because it's unacceptable to be in a relationship and not have the support of your partner. And then at the same time, you say, well, now I don't feel like supporting him. Well, now you're, tick for tack, and that'll make your relationship very petty, very childish, and it will tear your relationship apart. So instead of not supporting him, support him. Support him and express to him that you really want his support, and ask him why is he not supporting you, and let him know that it means a lot to you. Because as crazy as it sounds, some people just were not raised to love. Some people just don't know how to love, don't know how to be in a relationship, don't know how to treat a person because they were raised by, savages, or they were raised by wolves, people who were lost, people who were broken and hurting or confused or insecure or immature or just ignorant to what it means to be a mature adult. Like some people just don't have that because, home training and being taught these things, it's not a, it is a luxury. It's not something that's just commonplace and that everybody gets it. So you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing with someone who isn't doing something that seems like it's common sense. And so ask him, hear his response, and then tell him, I get it. I thank you for telling me that, but it really would mean a lot to me. And imagine if you had to do this, or if you were trying to do this, or you wanted to do that, and I didn't show up and I wasn't there for you. Like, how would that make you feel? If he says, well, I don't care if you support me or not. I don't care if you show up. I don't care if you come. And I just don't want to come to your church, and I don't want to be there when you're preaching. Like, I just don't care to be there. That means something to you, but it doesn't mean anything to me. If that's his response, then that's a very, very telling sign. And it almost sounds like, you married the wrong person. The other thing, what you have to think about, and this is one of the last points I'll make, is we equate our self-worth with our net worth. And so if he's not really where he wants to be, that's going to affect him. But let's say even if he is making money, which he may not be, but even if he is making great money, if you're living your passions, if you're living your dreams, if you're stepping out on faith and you're doing what you want to do in life, and he's not, he's sitting on his hands, he's running from his dreams and his passions, your life looks like a highlight reel. His life feels like a nightmare. So him going to see you and support you, it is actually demoralizing to him if he's not doing what he loves. And if he is doing what he loves and still not coming to support you, he has some extracurriculars going on. And so you got to look a little deeper. You got to dig a little deeper. You got to think a little deeper, and you got to pay closer attention. This is your husband. So in marriage, there is no forbidden fruit. And what I mean by that, from criminology term, forbidden fruit, if the police kick in the door right now without a search warrant and they find some marijuana or some cocaine on the floor, they can't hold that against me. It's forbidden fruit because they didn't ask me to search me, nor did they have a search warrant. See, when you are married, there's no forbidden fruit. So you can ask, hey, let me hold your phone so I can check the Google real quick. And then you can scroll through his text messages. You can look at his call log. If he goes to sleep and he sleeps hard, and you've looked over there and you have his password, which you should have his password, he should have your password. You're married. There should be nothing hidden. So you should be able to go in his phone. And just like in, law, if a police suspect something, then they have the right, So if they look in your back window while they're walking up to give you a ticket and they see marijuana in there, then now they have the right to search you because they have probable cause. So if you sense something else is going on in his life, it's okay for you to take it upon yourself to just kind of start paying closer attention. So if he leaves his email open, see what's going on in there. Any stress coming on in here, bills or work or, phone open or out. Well, who are you talking to? What are you talking about? What extracurriculars, what do you have going on that's so important that you can't come and support your wife? And one other point I want you to think about, and this is something that, you kind of just got to kick yourself in the shin over, is you are ministering in the church. So it sounds to me that you take church really seriously, that you are serious about this church thing. And if you're serious about this church thing, why would you marry a man that you have to drag to church? Why would you marry a man that it's not already in his DNA and in his desire to be in the church? So he was going with you on his own free will, but it sounds like you are still admitting that you knew that he doesn't normally go to church, but he was going with you while you were dating on his own free will. But my thing is, did you overlook some red flags? Was it already there that his relationship with God really isn't a mature walk and you ignored it for whatever reason? And so if you ignore some red flags, this is just the chickens coming home to roost. This is just what is happening. Like, this is something that you put together that God maybe didn't put together. And you have to think about that, and you got to ask yourself that, and you got to talk to God about it and really see, is this something that I forced? Like, is this not, my husband? Which I'm not saying get a divorce or anything like that, but I'm saying really evaluate it and look at it while it's still early. You're not 10 years in, so it's a good time that you need to have this conversation now, and you all need to have a come to Jesus meeting and decide how we're going to move forward in this marriage, and how are we going to learn to support one another and be there for one another, and how are we going to get on the same page. So that's very important. And to everybody else listening who, it's not your exact situation, I want you to keep in mind, pay attention to the person that you're dealing with and make sure that you are equally yoked, meaning that make sure that you are a fit. Make sure that you can fit together like a puzzle, that make sure you have the same foundation. You can't be a devout, Christian and serious about God, and this person is just, on the fence and it's kind of up in the air if they believe in God or not. It's not going to work out. So make sure that the person that you're trying to be with, that it's the real deal, and y'all actually fit one another, and you're not just going off of, oh, they have a great job, or oh, they're really funny, or oh, they're really handsome or really beautiful. But is this person a fit for you? Are you paying attention to the red flags? Hey, this is Tony Gaskins, your brother from another mother, just sharing my insight and opinion on your situation. If you have a question that you would like me to weigh in on, these are kind of like our, filler episodes. Just want to be able to help the people who are writing me, and this is my way of doing it. If you can't afford, life coaching, or you're not interested in doing an hour session with a coach or a counselor or a therapist, but just kind of want some random, unbiased insight, send your question into inbox@tonygaskins.com, inbox@tonygaskins.com. And remember, whatever you decide, take action. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. We'll talk soon.